people of the internet. Ian, also the Freedom Astrologer, once again here and doing another deeper video, which means I'm going to be bringing you uh, quite a deep dose of freedom with it as well. So let's get into this subject or this video, which is called Our Wounds and the Choices We Make Because of Them. So this is, as you can already see or hear or feel from the energy of that sentence I just said, it's going to be a deeper one. It's going to be a little bit harder one. And I hope you sit tight and get through it, because I think it will make sense once you move through the astrology and we move through the practical examples as well. So what do I mean? What do I mean by this? Our wounds and the choices we make because of them. So, during certain parts of our lives, things happen, during childhood, even later on, things happen that are harder to process, cause emotional reactions, cause pain, cause fear, cause these uncomfortable things in our psyches, feelings, heads, minds, thought processes. Energy feels as well. I must add to it too. Now, because these things happen to us, and we don't process them properly, we don't understand them, we don't navigate them, we don't let them go. We very often people suppress them, make it even worse, by suppressing them. We don't feel them, which is very important. And what starts happening later on in life, or maybe it happened a few years ago, it's still kind of affecting you, haven't processed. It can be a shorter time frame, or sometimes it can be a longer time frame when the person is something happened really long ago in the past, but it's still kind of repeating, or not even repeating, but it's very much stopping the person from going and moving forward and taking action, taking the things that they actually want to take to the world and create and make them. So this is a lot of the gist, and I will bring in relationships as well, because a lot of the places where it happens is relationships. A lot of people sit at home on the couch or behind the computer screen, and they're kind of like, oh, I want a partner and I want this amazing person to come into my life, but they don't go on dates, or they don't go outside, or they don't talk to people, or etc., etc., etc. And depending on the situation, it can be extreme, can be a little bit not so extreme, but the gist is, with our minds, with our thoughts, we say we want this, we want these career opportunities, we want these relationship opportunities, we want these monetary opportunities, we want these things coming into our life. But then when they appear, we start sabotaging ourselves and start making excuses in our minds at first, and then putting it out into the world for others. So for example, let's say you are in some sort of industry, whatever industry you are at, and you're putting in work, and kind of like they're preparing for something. Maybe you already got the skills, got the certificates, whatever it is in your case, and in your mind you're going, okay, so I really want this opportunity, I want this person to contact me, or want to go towards that person, or I want to work with them, or I want to work with this company, da 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 da. Again, very specific, depends on your specific case, but the point here, underlying point, is the same. So let's say finally that opportunity comes, and you put in the work, and everything happens for you almost all at once, and you're there, and it's like kind of like some sort of tightness, some sort of gripping. You can already notice. Sometimes you don't even notice, and this is one of the first things you should start doing whenever these opportunities come. Do you clench? Do you feel like your body even clenches? This is one of the first signs that there's some sort of belief, trauma, pain stopping you from actually living your life from doing the things that you actually want to do. And I've talked about this a lot on this channel, but I think it's, it's been such an important topic lately for my own personal life, career, relationship, everything. And a lot of people have come to me more and more and more with these kind of like similar topics, similar things. A person wants to do something, but when the opportunity finally arises and they're like, okay, so do it, come, I'll give you an opportunity, do it, and they're like, oh, I don't know, this and blah blah blah. These excuses start because what happens before the excuses is the tightness, the gripping, the pain that comes, and we suppress it even more and more and more, and the fear that comes more and more and more, and then we figure out some bullshit excuse, or oh, I'm not meant for this, or oh, I can't do this on this day, I'm sick, blah blah blah. The mind can figure out different weird excuses in order to not do the things that we actually like and want to do, but deep down we're scared of as well. Now, this can always come in relationship. We use the career example as well, but it can come in relationships. How can it manifest in relationships? I'll bring you an example. A guy or a girl or a woman or a man sits there in their house and home, and they're thinking, oh, I would love to be with that person, I would love to be with that person, or this person, or just in general, I would love to have this partner in my life, all these great things to have and make together and create together and go together. But once they're asked out by this great person, again, the gripping happens. Oh my God, what? Oh, I don't know. Oh my God. They will think I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not rich enough. I don't have this enough. Da 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 da. Again, the mind goes. The mind is like a steam train or a roller coaster. It just goes and throws in all of those excuses or even thought patterns that we have learned because we haven't processed what's underneath still. And this very often in relationships is just we don't go out with the love interest that really interests you, and then they come and ask you out, and you don't even ask them out as well. When maybe you're the guy, you're supposed to make the first move, and you just don't, because you're afraid of rejection, you're afraid of not being good enough in the large scheme of things. Or even when there's an opportunity, the person comes to you themselves and asks, want to hang out, want to go outside, want to go to a restaurant with me, or want to do something with me, and then again, I can't do this because da 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 da. I'm afraid of being vulnerable. I can't open myself up. I'm not good enough because I don't have this, insert blank, like car, money, clothes, career, success, whatever that might be in your case. The point I'm making, the reason, the underlying reason is still in some sort of unprocessed pain, trauma, fear that is coming up for you. Now, let's talk a little bit about astrology as well, because astrology can help us identify some of these placements, where these are coming from, but also give you an idea if you're more, prone to these types of things. Let's put it that way, because already some of you might even not be aware that you're sabotaging this yourself, sabotaging your career, sabotaging your life, sabotaging your relationships, romantic relationships, and friendship relationships as well. And astrology, I think, first and foremost, it's a good way to understand that you might be prone to it, that there might be a tendency to do it more. And it's just maybe not the easiest, but it, the astrology literally can show us also the proneness, but it also can show us some of the areas it might be coming from. Let's say from the mother side, more to do with the father, or some sort of experience with, you know, who it was. It can give us hints that we can explore further, that we can go on and explore a little bit more deeply there. So good stuff, guys. Let's go and move forward with this. Okay, so remember from this part, remember freezing. Remember the freezing. Oh my God, you know, something happens that I want to happen in my life, and all of a sudden I freeze. I go like this. And we're going to look at some of the examples on an astrological chart. Obviously, I'm not, you know, there's not all of them here, just a couple of examples to kind of illustrate what the point I'm making. But once you even understand that this is happening to you, and you can start to observe this yourself as well. So literally, if you have an issue in relationships, are you going out on dates? Are you doing that? Are you approaching the people who you want to approach actually? Are you, when it's career, are you taking, you know, the seemingly beneficial opportunities? Obviously there's, you know, financial matters and stuff like that to understand and then to consider, but still, are you taking at least some of these opportunities? Are you going after them yourself? Are you actively pursuing them? Or, you know, even actively accepting when they come to you? Or are you immediately rejecting? Because again, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. What will happen to me if I do this? What will happen to me if I go on a date? What will happen to me if I take this opportunity or role, for example, in a company? You know, that can be very much it. So start noticing that, start observing that specifically. Usually they come in career. You know, there are deeper things, you know, getting married and having babies, and, you know, there are other things, but very often the two most popular places where they really come up is career and relationships, because these are the things we're so much invested in daily. You know, it just shows up more and more and more. So you can most often, you can very likely make that observation that okay, so this is happening to me, and I need to work with this if I want to be more free in the world. Now, let's talk a little about now. Okay, now I'm ending my tangent finally and getting into the astrology. So let's get into the astrology a little bit. So here's an interesting chart, guys, for you. And you can see on the chart, we have the ruler of the first. I just pulled literally, this is nobody's, just an example chart. You have the ruler of the first, the sun. So this is, you know, if you're a beginner to an astrology reading or chart, this might be a little bit, you know, advanced. So go look at my how-tos on more beginner topics before. There's a whole series I'm doing and I've done already. This is an ongoing thing. Anyway, please go and check that out. So where I talk about rulerships, planets, and stuff like that. So, but in this case, we have the ruler of the first, really in a weird space, because the sun doesn't really like to be in the 7th house, and it's even worse. It's with its enemy Saturn. There's a conjunction. Luckily, it's a separating conjunction, so it's a little bit easier to navigate. But still, the sun is a little bit weak. Saturn is strong, and it's kind of like on top of that sun, or very close to the sun, means very often that the person can have confidence issues, and even more so, we can, you know, say even work-related confidence issues, material create the things we create out in the world, confidence issues, as well as internal ones as well, definitely. And this is, let's say, one of the positions I would really keep an eye on if I see Sun hard aspect to Saturn, Sun conjunct Saturn. this is already an indication that this person might be lacking the confidence to actually go towards the things they want. And every time, because Saturn is something older, some sort of old figure, kind of even a figure who's been in a like a higher position, let's say, in our life. This can be, a grandparent, a parent, even, actually, as well. Sometimes Saturn is one of the parents as well. And what Saturn does here is it kind of shows us where that confidence issue can actually come from. So Saturn conjunct the Sun really can show that the confidence issues are actually related to the father. So this means every time you get that career opportunity hang up, or let's say a opportunity comes and you're like, oh my god, I don't know, oh, it's so much, oh, I don't know. This can mean that one of the reasons you are getting this reaction is from the father's side, and maybe your father said something to you along the lines of, oh, you can't take on so much risk, or better to play it safe, or it's good to have a steady job, or whatever the weird kind of, there are multiple opportunities. This is where you need to interact with the person and interact with yourself if it's your issues, and to understand that this might be going on with you as well. But what is interesting in this chart, I want to show you guys even further, is the ruler in this chart, the ruler of the second house, which is self-worth, is very tightly in an applying conjunction, in difficult terms, Mercury to Pluto. And when we're talking about these issues, these deeper issues, these wounds, these pains, these problems we're having in these areas, we're very often talking about Saturn, hard aspect from Saturn or conjunction. We're talking about Pluto conjunction, hard aspect. We're talking about 8th house influences, 8th house, our deepest wounds. So remember that, guys, as well. And now, when we're talking about Pluto conjunct the second house ruler, or the self-worth ruler, there can also be some issues related to the family history, which means, patterns picked up from the family history that are actually making this person sabotage themselves. And this can actually happen in relationships as well, because, if our self-worth is low, or there are some issues, there are some beliefs, again, coming from this family history. Oh, you can't go for this, or you can't, our family can't have this, or our nobody from our family has ever achieved this, or these types of sentences, these types of beliefs, these types of ideas that are coming. So this can be quite painful, and literally these patterns can actually hold yourself back from actually making the changes, making those leaps of, literally, maybe there's a belief of, oh, we can't have happy relationships, or our relationships all fail. There's a pattern of literally failed marriages or something. This can happen also. Or nobody has, taken the courage to, maybe make an own business, or something along those lines. So there's a belief, there's a fear around that jump, or making that jump. And remember, the tightness and then these da-da-da-da-das come to haunt you afterwards. So let's move further. I have one more chart to show you as well here. And guys, I know some of you who follow me a lot, this is one of the reasons I actually picked the previous one, because there's no, you can see there's almost no Scorpio energy. And I know a lot of, I mentioned Pluto, I mentioned 8th house, I mentioned Saturn. We also, when we see somebody with a lot of Scorpio energy, like on this chart, you can see there's a stellium here. I'm going to dissect it a little bit immediately. And the problem with the Scorpio energy, and why this is the hardest always to maintain, to navigate, to heal, to bring to light, but it has the most rewards as well in those deeper spaces. So this is what you need to really remember. about the Scorpio energy. But let's look at this chart a little bit more closely. And we can see there's a stellium in the 9th house in the sign of Scorpio. There's Sun is here, Venus is here, Mercury is here. So very tightly conjunct here, this cluster of planets. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this example to it, because this is like a double whammy. I like to call it, I don't know, other astrologers like to call it as well. It's like we have more than one hard influence. So we already have, but the gist I'm going to share as well, there's a brighter side to it as well. So let me just go through it. We have, there's a ruler of the 7th house, which is relationships and astrology, in the sign of Scorpio, conjunct the Sun, and we have Saturn square as well. So this can mean a lot of things, because Saturn is the subconscious as well. So this, or sorry, the 12th house. Saturn is coming from the 12th house, and the 12th house is subconscious, and Saturn is actually our fears. Pluto is our deepest wounds and pains, Saturn is our fears. So Saturn, our fears from the subconscious, meaning our subconscious fears, are squaring the ruler of the 7th house, guys. This can mean very often that because of those subconscious fears, the person won't step into relationships. This is a very, very common one, I would say. And yes, Mercury in Scorpio isn't that bad, but it's very tightly conjunct the Sun. And Venus, the ruler of the relationships, is also square Saturn. Very difficult combination for this person considering long-term relationships. And there are most likely a lot of subconscious fears about stepping into relationships, and worth issues most often here as well. So this person, it doesn't have the most easiest going with relationship, and we can say that they might be sabotaging themselves even before getting into relationships. Remember that tightness, those beliefs, I'm not worthy, relationships never work out. And this is, I think, this is one of the places where it's this Saturn Scorpio combo is like the relationships never work out, and the relationships are always painful. Like these are these beliefs that are really coming from this chart for this person. So hopefully this makes sense, guys. And obviously there are ways to go and solve these issues. You want to work with me, and if you want to work with me one-on-one, the link will be in the description below. If you want to learn more about these types of let's say configurations and things, how you can improve your worth, improve your situation, I also did a 7-hour-long webinar. The link will be also below in the description box, so check that out, please, guys. It's a really good one, and it will help you literally to feel more free, to understand these processes more, to make better decisions during these difficult moments. Sometimes it seems like it's an amazing opportunity but then the feeling, the fear and the sabotage comes in. So guys, hopefully this makes sense to you. Really enjoyed recording this one. Thank you very much for listening, watching. Like, share, subscribe the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. And see you again soon in the next video.